I want to start by giving a very brief introduction and explanation of the capacity building training that we had in 2014. Community development recognized, and we still recognize and acknowledge the fact of the work that the community councils and the NGO organizations on St. Martin is doing right now. We are very grateful, and not all the time we have the opportunity to say thank you. We are grateful because in many instances you are actually collaborating with us, but you also filling the gap in areas where truly government could not have reached, but you have done it for us. Many times it seems like it goes unnoticed, but it is noticed. And when we notice it is during the time when you are absent or you are not able to conduct that service, we realize we are missing on our NGOs and community councils. Community development also is in much need of your collaboration. For this specific department, it is very difficult or almost impossible for us to do our work without the collaboration of the NGOs and the community councils. Therefore, we underscore that, and we thought it very important that we would have a training where, yes, we could take on a higher level the skills and the work that you are giving to the community right now. This means if we are putting a demand on the community councils and the NGOs, that we also need to invest in them. We took that bold step. It wasn't easy. However, with the assistance and the sponsorship of USONA, we made it possible. Also, the Ministry of Public Health, Social Development and Labor contributed to this. Tonight, we are here to celebrate that accomplishment, and we did not stop there. However, I will not continue talking about the way forward because I will leave that to another speaker. I want to say thanks to you, and many of you are not here tonight, and that is for, at least for what we know, 2 reasons. This is the vacation period, but we had to do the certification because it was long overdue. The next thing, the tragic incident that thrilled most of us, if not all of us, within the community, is also a reason why many at last minute had to say that they would not be able to be here present. However, we want to remember them because they were part of it. We started off with a total of approximately 100 participants. We had 3 different groups that took the training, and from that 100, we have 64 persons that completed the training. And to complete the training, the main criteria was that you had to attend 70% of the training. And with that 70%, were 64 persons that accomplished that. And I think that is great because it shows that the community councils, the NGOs, they are willing to go the extra mile. They are willing also to improve on their skills, and they're willing to do more, provide better service to the people within our communities. We also had some methodologies that we use specifically to get to the program. And the first one was we did a number of intake with the various NGOs and community council. The second thing we did the program coordinators, they met with a petit comité consisting of past and current representatives of the various NGOs and community councils to obtain input to the proposed capacity building. So it was not coming from just us. They also said these are the areas that we think or we know that needs to be improved. Based on that, we were able to assess the situation and were able to come up with the proper courses for the training. Thirdly, the assessments were conducted before the start of the training. Participating NGOs were required to complete an assessment form, which in turn provided us with brief snapshots of the structure, activities, and the specific needs of our partners. In turn, this vital feedback allowed community development to tailor the program specifically around the results of the assessments. Fourthly, participants were required to complete and submit a brief survey. At the end of each session, the results were compiled and analyzed with the sole purpose of knowing participants' learning experience and participation. We got good feedback from all the courses. There were courses, of course, that persons liked more, but there were none that we would say people did not like. And we got feedback, and I thought that was very important, during the training from different NGOs, and they said we already started to implement that which we learned. And I thought that information shared was on that for marketing and also on taxes and administration, because a lot of information was unknown with taxes is concerned for the various NGOs. Feedback from the governance program was that it was not enough, that even via USM, they think that there should be more sessions where people can get more information where that is concerned. We had feedback from also the financial management. People thought that it was very tough, that it was difficult. However, they thought it was useful because in that they still went and tried to use the information that they received and realized that it was assisting them in doing their work, their administration in a better manner. From the program development, we got feedback, and this is the majority, of course, what the majority of the NGOs gave as feedback. Program development, they thought that that information was very useful, even though we tailored it to meet the specific module or form that USONA was using. It was possible to use it now for other, we even up to recent got feedback that they are using it for the other funding agencies. So that also was good to know. We are not stopping here, even though that's a strong statement. However, we will be continuing because we are already in another phase. We took it to a higher level, and that is important. So I want to say to the government of St. Martin, thank you for investing in the capacity building training on behalf of all the participants and the NGOs and community councils, but also to USONA. that the monies made available, they were well used. From the 100 persons, again, participants 64 did the full course. And also we have testimonies of those that now are busy at USM continuing with the certified training, and that is good news. I want to, before I turn the floor over to someone else, apologize for the Minister of, well, the Acting Minister of Public Health, Social Development and Labor, Mrs. Rita Bourne-Gomes, who is not able to be here with us. She thought she was going to attend. However, it is not possible because of family duties. The Prime Minister of St. Martin was also to be here, and he also asked to extend his apologies. As we all know, this tragic incident is really have most of the people within the community very busy right now. There were plans for a march, there are different things. We got last-minute cancellation, and we all understand this because it is very important that we also understand and feel the hurt when somebody or certain families within our community are hurting. This, I want to say also, the work that we are doing within the community, today it proves more than ever that we need to continue and work even harder, because it's easier for us to say something about those that are not upholding the law, but we need to work harder as to try to make our community safer, to make it a better place. The work that is set out there for NGOs, community councils, we cannot continue working on an individual basis. We have to come together, collectively try to deal with these ills in our society.
Good night. I want to congratulate you. It has been my honor to be the coordinator of a program like this, especially a program with the name Capacity Building. I think for a new country, the best thing you can do is to build the capacity of your people. The people that know me know that I'm all into education, and so it was, like I said, my honor to be the coordinator. But what I like most is me being a facilitator, and I was a facilitator of one of the courses, governance, just like was mentioned by Ms. Aida Holloman, and I enjoyed the interaction, and back then I proposed for us to continue. I have to mention though, I was back then a consultant. Now I'm a civil servant, so if I were you, I will make good chance of this opportunity because now I cannot charge you. So I wish you a very good night, and again, congratulations.
I'm of the opinion that this, of course, is a Christian nation, and in a Christian nation, people often say in the beginning is the Word. That is theologically true, but I think in the social world, in the beginning is the deed, the act. And I think what NGOs do is that they act. They are busy in the world. I think what a university has to do is also act. but we act by analyzing things. One of the things that took place is that last year we published a book, Notes on the Making of a Nation in the Kingdom. That book was published thanks to the then Prime Minister, Sarah Westcott Williams, and that book was an analysis of St. Martin's Society. And we said to analyze a society, you have to understand actually 3 unresolved issues. If you want to understand a society, you have to understand the things that people are busy with. We said there were 3 questions. One question was the question of purpose. This is the first generation that will not have it as good as their parents had it. And that is creating a whole lot of anger and anxiety. So whilst we are busy with Officer Benjamin, we also have to be busy with those persons that perpetrated the crime, because they are part of that system of thinking about or not having that purpose anymore. So we have to actually address the question of purpose. In addressing that question of purpose, the second question is the question of the multiculture. You have to ask yourself, how are you going to deal with cultural differences? What is acceptable, what is not acceptable, to build that purpose? And the third question is the question of the sacred. What do we consider of ultimate concern? Only when we address these 3 questions can we actually move forward. One way of doing that was to transform that analysis again into tangible products. So we spoke to the then Minister of Health, Mr. Cornelius de Wever, and he said, I'm willing to invest in 3 courses of the USM for the NGOs. The 3 courses, one of them already took place, and these are the certificates of that first one. He said, I believe people have to understand the Caribbean situation because they're dealing with the whole multicultural mix. So we created a course, Introduction to Caribbean Studies, but we linked it to film studies. And we had a guest lecturer from the Netherlands, Ms. Sharelle Emanuelson, who is a famous filmmaker in the Netherlands. She came down for 3 months, and she actually did a course with participants of the NGOs. She taught them how to make small films with whatever they had. They got theory, they had to do their exams, and they gained credits for that course in Caribbean filmmaking, coupled to nation building and coupled to social work. The second course that's going to take place in September will be a course in business, and that will be done by USM lecturer and the former general manager of the Blue Mall, Mr. Omar Becerra. He cannot be here, I think, today, but he's the one who's going to be giving that course. And the third one will be interpersonal communication that will be given by Dr. Gittens, because you have to understand how you communicate internally as an NGO. All these courses are coupled to USM credits. So tonight, Sharelle Emanuelson cannot be here, but she is busy editing the work of the persons who did these courses, because there will be a publication and a film, because she was here filming as well, and that film is now being shown in the Stedelijk Museum in Amsterdam. So that will be put together, and that will be presented by the end of this year to the general public of St. Martin. Hopefully she will be able to come down to present that film to everyone. So what I'm going to do now, sorry for my long-windedness, what I'm going to do now is offer the certificates to the persons who participated in the course. Ashma Burkle. She's not in. Oops. Chadwick Richardson. Elba Flanders. I haven't seen her either. John M. Hodge. He's not in either. This person I saw, and she was very lively in the course, always participating, and I think you will enjoy seeing her film the moment it comes out, and her essay. Ms. Clara Reyes. I would step in from time to time into the course to see how it was going. And one person said to me, I remember when I just came to the USM, she said, I hope you do something with social work. And I said, perhaps in time we will do so. And that person, the moment she heard about the sets of courses, she says, I'm going to be there, and she was there each and every time. Miss Urta Kreidenhof. This person I remember because whenever we showed a film, and I remember the first time a film was shown, she says, I saw that film in Trinidad beforehand. And she gave us a whole explanation of how people interpreted the film in Trinidad, and then we spoke about how persons were interpreting it in the classroom, and she was always quite lively in the class. Miss Jillian Granum. Now, the other persons will receive their certificate. I understood this evening that the MP Silveria Jacobs also has persons participating in this capacity building. I do hope that those persons will also take part in the second course that will be given at the USM in September. Thank you.
What we will be doing is small empowerment courses and sessions, but not a program of this nature and continuing. We lay the foundation, and now we put you in the more than capable hands of USM. At this time, I would like to call on Ms. Joy Arnell to do the closing remarks, and I just want to, as she comes, to say thanks again to some persons or organizations that were extremely supportive to us, and as was mentioned earlier, the minister, the former Minister of Public Health, Social Development and Labor, Minister De Wever at that time, and definitely at that time the past Prime Minister of St. Martin, Mrs. Sarah Westcott Williams, also heading back where we had to make sure filter and channel everything through for us to be able to send it through to USONA. And of course the staff bureau of the Ministry of VSA. I saw Okama Brook here representing Wayne Brook and Jason Peterson, because for us to be able to do not only capacity building program was one program, but we had a number of programs that was carried out by NGO Self, which was in the group of the INDP program. And I want to say again, thanks to Ms. Angela Decker. And Jason came up with that brilliant format, how we would be able to account for every fund that we received. For us, the capacity building, we did so. Most of the other groups also did. But it was easy to be able at least to make sure we were giving account for funds from the NGOs side. And I want to say thanks in a special way to Jason for his hard work, to Wayne Brook also, who did the coordinator, to the office of BAC. At that time it was Yasmin, and then we had other persons, but we want to say thank you to all of you for your contribution, because it's not about community development, family and humanitarian affairs. We could not do it by ourselves. We were just maybe the brainchild, but that was it.
I want to, again, thank you, but I want to extend my sincerest appreciation to the organizations. I don't think we tell them thank you enough. I don't think we state how often enough the appreciation we have for the work that you do every single day. We start with a passion. We start with an idea, and we develop that passion, and we go out in the community, and we really try to do something from our hearts. And there are obstacles that come in our way. There are things that happen that try to really crush us. But then there are people like Ida and community development that says, how can we help you? How can we help strengthen you for you to survive in that which is happening every single day? Development takes place on 3 levels. It starts with parents when we are children. It moves on within our educational system. But the third important aspect is community development. And community development is that which each and every single one of you, single one of us, do every single day. It may be storytelling in the library. It could be the dance classes at NIA. It could be the classes in the community centers. But whatever it is because of each and every single person that's sitting here that our community is constantly developing and moving. And we need you every single day to recommit in spite of all the challenges. Because if you do not recommit, then it's almost as if we give up. Years ago, we started with volunteerism. All of us were in the churches, and we were in our, in our little backyards, and we pulled all the children together for Sunday school under the trees, etc., etc. It has developed and has changed. It has changed to the extent where we have today certified programs that can actually lead us to an associate degree. I commend you, but I ask you also to continue going. Don't give up. Let's see how many other persons we could get on board. We need front runners, we need runners right behind you and the ones behind that. But we need you to continue, because without you, our community is not going to continue developing. Community development is you. And we, no matter where we are, whether we're in government or we're in the funding agencies or we're in the universities, we cannot do it unless you're willing to stand up and be counted. And with that, I ask you to stand up and be counted. Thank you very much.